Welcome back to the Budget Gamer channel, where we bring you critical and in-depth reviews on just about every indie game we can get our hands on, and today, based on popular vote, we're going to be taking a look at Dark Veer for the Nintendo Switch. Dark Veer was a game that was definitely suited for last Halloween's holiday season, with pretty quick and straightforward jump scares and kind of spoopy frights. But overall, the story consists of being a small child who is afraid of going to sleep alone while their parent leaves the house to go and work the night shift. More or less, you confide in your father that you are afraid to go to sleep in an empty house because of all of the monsters, and more or less, you're pretty much just told that it's all in your head, and that is the scenario for each of the nights in the game. So if you're already thinking that this game might be more of a budget Five Nights at Freddy's clone, you're not far from the truth. That is, accepting the fact that where most games will rely on the visuals and certain other mechanics, Dark Veer puts a heavy emphasis on the ambient sound. Starting off on the first night in Dark Veer, you'll have 3 gaming artifacts to manage, one being the bedroom door, the other being the bedroom window, and the final one being the alarm clock. And because the door and the window are on opposite sides of the room, in order to be able to safeguard yourself from any intruding monsters, you'll really have to pay attention to the sounds that each of these things make. If you hear the window slide open or hear the door crack open a bit, you'll have to jump out of your bunk bed, slam shut the window, or turn on the bedroom lights to get the monster to close the door and leave. But as easy as it may be on that first night to manage the door and the window, that alarm clock will go off loudly and randomly throughout the entire night. And besides those annoying alarm bells impeding your ability to hear whether the door or the window is opening to try and keep yourself safe, the alarm sounds agitate the creature and actually makes it want to aggress your bedroom even more quickly. But even though it might seem like a simple task to just leave your bedroom light on and stay out of your bed managing your alarm clock and the window, the only way to actually make time pass in the game is to be in your bed with the lights off. And this again puts a larger emphasis on the game's ambient sounds than maybe the scenes and sights. As you play through the remaining nights of the game, though, more gaming elements are added, whether that's a TV that randomly turns on, causing static to agitate the monsters even more, or an additional monster placed inside your bedroom closet. Obviously the pace of the game picks up and the difficulty increases with every following night. But if you don't find yourself drawn to the night-by-night story-type gameplay, there's also an endless challenge mode that allows you to just play the game as long as possible, racking up higher and higher scores the longer you manage to stay alive. This mode, though, will include all gaming elements and all possible fatalities for your character, so maybe playing through at least the first couple of days of the story mode could work you up to getting more experience with exactly what can kill you and when. Moving on to the game's visuals, though, besides having a bit of a nostalgic feel with the pixelated scenes, there's really not much to talk about as far as the game's graphics. You're playing the game as a child in a dark bedroom, focusing mostly on sounds, so it does make sense that there's not really a lot to talk about with the game's graphics. The sounds of the game, though, are fairly well composed. It's a dark, creepy bedroom in a creepy scenario, and because you're paying so much attention to slight sounds from doors or closets opening, any noise from the static of the TV or the jarring alarm bells from the alarm clock really do add to that little sense of anxiety. And those creepy, gurgling, clicking sounds that the game's monster makes might make certain fans of Eastern horror reminisce to movies like The Ring or The Grudge. As Dark Veer is a pretty straightforward, pretty short, and fairly obvious jump scare style game, there's really only one major critique I could bring to the surface. And that is unfortunately with the game's controls. They feel a little bit slow and a little bit sluggish, and could possibly leave a player feeling like the controls were set to be way too dull in order to almost artificially increase the difficulty level. And that's possibly because the character's actual movement is fairly quick while the character's turning is very slow. But other than that, the deeper you get into the game, the faster it goes, and the more you focus on managing gaming assets as opposed to actually being scared of the creature. But overall, Dark Veer is definitely not a bad game. If you're a fan of casual horror or Five Nights at Freddy's style games, or you're just in for a quick fright, especially considering the price, Dark Veer might be worth a few hours of your time. But anyway, that does about wrap up the review of Dark Veer now on the Nintendo Switch, so if you enjoyed the review, or especially if you found it helpful, feel free to throw me a comment or a like to show your support, and don't forget to click that little bell icon when you subscribe to stay updated with the latest content. There are new and unique indie games coming out literally every single day, so there's always going to be some new game to find out about right here. But anyway, this has been Budget Gamer, so as always, thanks for watching.